Okay, before we proceed to the next lesson, I thought it would be a good idea to again try out what we just did with the healing brush tool and the dust and scratches filter. Therefore, I decided to reopen our image from the beginning. Go to the layers panel and create a new merged layer. Now zoom into the image quite a lot until you can see the dust and the scratches. And now let's see on how good it works on this image. Choose the filter dialog, change from all to noise, and choose dust and scratches. Well, this looks quite good so far, but here you can see we are already starting to lose highlights. So let's set this to 0 and let's set this to 0 and bring it in step by step. Maybe we do not need as much. Okay, now bring in the tolerance, just like so. Great. Let's have a look at our before and after with the splitter. Okay, so we didn't destroy the grain of the image, that's great, but we destroyed quite a lot of highlights on the leaves, and we have to keep that in mind when painting back in this filter. See? Now these are absolutely destroyed highlights here. So keep that in mind, okay? We could try to raise the tolerance up quite a bit more, but if we go too far, we start to reintroduce the dust. I say 10 is the maximum of tolerance we can give. Okay, now we are losing just some highlights, not that much anymore. Let's hit apply. And again as before, go in and create an empty mask. Choose the brush tool, make white your foreground color, make sure the opacity is 100%, have a look at the size, zoom out a bit, and now paint back in the filter. Okay, and keep in mind not to destroy highlights. Now this is a little training because here we have some areas that are a little bit more complicated to edit. And here you see it works quite well. And we're going to remove the problems in the highlight areas later with the healing brush tool. Great. I think I just removed the highlight. No, it wasn't the highlight. Great. So let's zoom out a bit. Let's go here, there. Great. Now let's see if we can bring this out, but I think it will not work. See? Again, this simply will not work because we have a light hair or a scratch or whatever on a light background. And as I told you, this is not enough contrast between the fore and background to remove this problem. But here, for example, it will work wonders. So this is really a super helpful technique if you use it right. And if you do not overdrive this, it will not destroy your image at all. So keep that in mind. If somebody tells you, oh, this filter is crappy because it destroys your image, it's not true. It just destroys the image if you use it wrong. Okay, I think that's it so far. Maybe here and there. Great. Now let's zoom in to the leaves. Let's make the brush even smaller because there are some areas we can work with the brush. I think this is a highlight here. Okay. Okay, and now I want to remove the dust particles from the leaf here in the middle. And since I can't do it like this because I would destroy highlight details, I'm gonna do it with the healing brush. Therefore we go to a layer panel, select the top layer, and again we're gonna say merge visible. And you could now, if you want, rename this layer to healing brush or something like this. So let's go in. Oh, we should also rename this layer, I'm very sorry. I call this Dust and Scratches DNS. Super quick. And let's go in here. And I'm simply call this heal. Great. Now go over here and create and select the healing brush. Make sure it's not too big. I think this size is absolutely okay. Tap with your finger on the screen, choose an area. Great. And now simply stamp away this little part on the leaf. Do the same with these two spots here. Just stamp them away. Great. Now let's go through the image and see if we missed something critical. Well, yes. Here in the sky, let's go in and simply paint these parts here away. Don't forget to resample from time to time. This will make the things look more accurate and more believable. And as I told you, it's not necessary to over-perfect an image, since it still is analog and it's allowed for the image to have an analog feel. But I think you should at least remove the things that make an image super ugly. That's one of the advantages when using digital image editing over the darkroom. So I work in the darkroom quite a lot, and I personally prefer working in the darkroom because I'm one of these crazy purists. And you can also, of course, remove spots in the darkroom. You can remove skin problems in the darkroom with darkening or with bleaching. But this is way more intensive, way more work intensive. You can make way more mistakes, and of course it is nearly impossible to correct these super mini small problems, like for example this one or this one or this one. You wouldn't see them, and you wouldn't have a brush that is thin enough to spot these places. I already have super thin brushes, but this would be an impossible task. Okay, but as I just told you, sometimes it simply is not necessary to do too much to an image, and I'm usually super satisfied with the possibilities I have in the darkroom. Oh, see, we destroyed a highlight. Great. Point is, we now already merged this layer. What could we do now? I told you about the mask. Now let's go and create a mask layer. A simple mask layer. Now nothing happens yet. Go and select your brush tool and choose black because we want to remove the image and this place. Choose a very small brush size. Paint over here, and you will see right at the moment nothing is happening, and that's absolutely okay because we have to do the same thing in the layer beneath this layer. Now go to this layer, go to the layer mask, and also paint black here to bring back our highlight details that we accidentally lost when using the dust and scratches filter. That's what I told you. So keep track of your highlights, keep that in mind. This can happen to anyone. Just attention will help you to create great images. Okay, let's just do this real quick, just for the image to look nice. Here we go. Bring back in the highlight details here. And here again. Cool. Okay, now let's zoom out of this image. And last but not least, I introduced the cropping tool to you. We use this again now. Crop in the image here. Remove this ugly border. Great. Simply make this a nice image with a nice cut. And hit apply. Wow. Now, that's what I call a nice analog image. Now, let's go in here. And let's create a new merge layer just to see our before and after. Okay, now we're going to deactivate all of these layers here. Back until the first point where we started out, and now we reintroduced this layer. Isn't that a huge difference? That's super cool. Okay, that's it for this lesson now. And I hope this reintroduction and training of the last techniques we learned helped you a little to understand the techniques even deeper. The next lesson will be a black and white inversion, so see you in the next lesson.